Oh, hello. Welcome. It is me. And I was about to text my daughter. Hello, it's me, Danielle Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Welcome to this October's forecast video. We are going to talk about the cosmos that are stirring up in the sky for this intense game changing energy for the month of the October. And yeah, I'm filming this live September 30th. So we are really pushing it to the edge. I usually do this around the 20th, but this month we got Mars retrograding pre-shadow phase in the sign Cancer. So yeah, that's going to be a doozy. So we start to feel that energy in this month. We also have the eclipse coming up on the 2nd, which I've been talking about a lot. We have Scorpio energy, even a touch of Sagittarius energy coming up. We have a full moon in Aries. It's going to square Mars in a sign Cancer, creating some dramatic tension right as Mars is at that same point of pre-shadow retrograde, and we have emotions involved. We already had emotions involved with the sign Cancer. I feel like that's a big doozy. But yes, let's get ready to see what we have in detailed for the month of October, shall we? Now, before we do anything, I do want to point out all of the great things that I have in the link down below. I have a lot of free stuff for you. It might not be marked down there, but I want you to understand that if you click one of the links, you'll find some stuff. I have a free tool in learning tarot. I have a free reading just for you. And yeah, I think I have a free audiobook that might actually be in my group actually. I do also want you to understand that I do have a group that is kind of like a Patreon, but it's more a community. People can communicate on there, and I just started it, and I'm pretty proud about it. They already had the advanced copy, and I do give them a calendar of all the aspects before I even put this video up. So they had that last week. And yeah, I do some private readings on there, all for the price of $4.99. It is amazing. Yeah. And so do your due diligence as a viewer for getting this content for free. If you could just thumbs up automatically, because I am doing this. I'm doing it live. I'm setting this up. I'm giving you all of this, okay, for free. Now, coming up in the next video, I'm going to do a tarot reading for the month of October. That should be up tomorrow. I might be doing that live. I do like doing live videos, and you can get unedited live tarot reading. If you're joining that, you can feel free to ask some questions, and I'll do some tarot readings just for you live for free. So there's that. And then also, I am going to do a political and current events one just on October, so we can know that. Okay. So now let's talk about these transits here. And this is what we have. You can screenshot this if you want to. This is what we have for the transits that are coming in October. Anytime you see the word trine, that's very positive, and you don't have to do any work, and that is very positive aspect. If you see square oppositions, that is challenging. There is going to be a lesson learned in some way, and then some aspects affect others more than some. So don't get too trippy off of everything that you see. Now, if you see any oppositions, of course, oppositions are opposites, okay? And there's some balancing energy that needs to happen there. So for you guys who are listening via a podcast, I am going to say what we have. October 2nd, we have the solar annual eclipse in Libra. I have several videos on that, so go check that out. October 4th is when we start to have the Mars pre-shadow retrograde phase start. Venus is going to trine Saturn. On the 5th, Mars is going to square Mercury is going to square Mars, and remember, it's the pre-shadow retrograde, so that's going to be interesting. October 8th, Venus is going to trine Mars. Mercury is going to trine Jupiter. On the 9th, Jupiter stations retrograde in Gemini. The 11th, Pluto in Capricorn is going to station direct. Things get very interesting for us, you guys, in October. On the 13th, the sun is going to trine Jupiter. Mercury will square Pluto in 29 degrees. So that's going to be intense. Wait for that. When I explain that, Mercury is going to enter Scorpio. On the 14th, the sun squares Mars. Venus opposes Uranus. On the 15th, Venus trines Neptune. Venus enters Sagittarius. We have the full moon in Aries. We have the full moon that's going to square Mars in Cancer. I discussed that earlier in this video. We'll get into the details of that. On the 21st, Mars is going to trine Saturn. On the 22nd, the sun's going to square Pluto. Venus is going to trine North Node. Sun will enter Scorpio. On the 27th, Mars in Cancer pre-shadow retrograde is starting to creep up and starts to oppose Pluto in Capricorn. I don't know if I put that up there. I actually don't have my reading glasses, so I can't see. But I do want you to understand that I have this on here so we can understand the energy that's going to start to be felt towards the end of October. And Mars on the 28th is going to trine Neptune. Venus is going to square Saturn. On the 30th, Mercury is going to oppose Uranus. And on the 31st, Mercury will trine Neptune. Now, I also have an extra little clip here that if you're not watching, I just have the lunations. And for the lunations, which I've already discussed, we have the eclipse on the 2nd and the full moon will be on the 17th. And it's going to be a full moon in Aries. And remember, I said earlier, it's going to square Mars in Cancer. The ingresses we have on the 13th, Mercury is going to enter Scorpio. On the 17th, Venus is going to enter Sagittarius. So we do get some Sagittarius energy happening. So it's going to be very optimistic energy, maybe a lot of socializing. We'll see how that goes. October 22nd, the sun will enter Scorpio. And retrogrades, I told you, on the 4th, we have the Mars pre-shadow phase starting, and on the 9th, Jupiter is going to retrograde in Gemini, and on the 11th, Pluto is going to go direct in Capricorn. So that is what we have for the aspects, and now we are going to start to get into the nitty-gritty of what this October has to do in detailed. Okay, but first, a word from our sponsor. Hello there, my beautiful souls. I am Danielle Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Are you ready to take your spiritual journey to the next level? Introducing Danielle's Astro Tarot Elite Club, your exclusive getaway to daily insights, cosmic guidance, and so much more for just $4.99 a month. As a member, you'll receive daily readings designed to align your day with the universe's energy. Start each day with clarity and confidence. Do you need a personal reading, or do you want to have your astrology chart read fully? With being a member, you also can enjoy exclusive discounts on all my offerings just for our elite members only, all for just $4.99 a month. That's less than a cup of coffee. Join Danielle's Astro Tarot Elite Club today and elevate your spiritual path. Okay, yes, there we go. Now, thank you, AB. I love the applause and the celebration. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm here for that. Thank you for being here and watching. Let's start. Let me pull up the chart. I actually should have did this while I was drinking my water. Let me pull up the chart for the astrology, and let's get ready to break down October and see what we have for all of us. Is it going to be a doozy, you guys? I mean, every month brings joy, and life is about constant ups and downs, isn't it? Now, I'm always trying to figure out how to do. There we go. That is how I like it. Okay, so you see I have Cardi B up here. The last video I did, and it was very impromptu. I was actually in my workout clothes. Check it out. I explained that who was affected by the eclipse so far, and what was consensus is a lot of Cancer. So shout out to all my Cancers. You guys are really feeling this eclipse in regards to relationships. Okay, so now we are going to talk about October, and what do we have for October? October, let me put actually now, and let me remove this. October 2nd is when it all starts, okay? And we have this eclipse, annular eclipse in Libra. I've discussed this so much, you guys, but here it is, okay? It looks like it's going to happen here. It says at 12:08 p.m. That is when the eclipse will happen. I said where you guys can see it. You're going to see it in the Pacific Ocean, South America, Atlantic Ocean, Antarctica. They will see it. And now I think physically seeing it is not going to be as big as who is affecting it. Of course, is affecting P. Diddy. I said Cardi B, the mayor of New York. I said a few other people, so go ahead and check out that video. But if it could be affecting you as well. But I discussed this, and I do still want to reiterate that we have Mercury is conjunct this, and what that means is basically a lot of gossip, a lot of news, a lot of broadcasting, a lot of newscasters, tweets. just a lot of communication across the board. So you have people going on lives telling a business, you have rumors and lies and secrets being exposed there, okay? All in the name of relationships, okay? So that is what we have. Let's move on to the 4th, and if you guys want more details of it, please check out all my other videos. Now on the 4th, we have the pre-shadow retrograde phase in Cancer that is going to start. It's going to start towards the evening. Mars, December 26th is when it fully will retrograde. That is when you really will feel it, all the way until February 23rd. And now it's going to go in the sign Leo too, and then back in Cancer. So I want you to understand. But Mars stationing retrograde in Leo on December 6th. Why do I have the 26th here? On December 6th is when it will retrograde in Leo. Mars will then scoot into Cancer at the beginning of January 2025. Mars goes retrograde every 2 years. I've discussed all of this and I've done a separate video on this, but I want you to understand that the energy you would definitely start to feel it. So go ahead and check out that video. Mars is the planet of achieving and getting things done. In the sign Cancer, it gets very emotional, a lot of sensitivity, and revisiting things from the past. So you have that, and it's not quite working the way it's supposed to. So you'll be overly sensitive, extra moody. Okay. Get ready for that when trying to achieve things. Maybe too much looking in the past instead of looking at the future when achieving things. So that is what is going to happen when it's in Cancer. When it's in a sign Leo, you could be very overconfident, okay? Too much showy-ship, like everyone look at me, maybe even overexpanding. Leo does love the luxury life, so that could be happening. But Leo also represents creativity. Also, Leo represents children and celebrities, so maybe children who are stars or influencers are going to be affected with this placement too. So that's what we have. Oh, a romance too. I've done a very detailed video on this, but being assertive is going to be a problem for the collective as a whole. Now, as far as our leaders and presidents, now when it gets into Leo, it's really going to affect Trump. So let's see how that happens. And I did discuss that in a video too. Now, that same day, Venus is going to Venus, I need my reading glasses here. I wore the wrong glasses, but Venus is going to trine Saturn at 14 degrees. This is very positive, right? Because now we can have some emotional maturity. This is really going to affect, you see, it's got the water signs, so our Scorpios and Pisces. Yeah, so the water signs are really going to be feeling this. And especially if you're a Scorpio, especially if you are a Pisces, you are going to be feeling this. And, maybe if you're dealing with some emotional people, because sometimes you don't know someone's sign and all of a sudden this energy happens. So they have that water in them and you just don't know. But the key themes here is emotional maturity, strengthening commitments, healing and transformation. There could be some financial discipline because anytime you have Venus with Scorpio, you're dealing with some money matters. Okay. Yeah, a lot of support that could be coming from some secret places or things that are very taboo. And it's going to help you in the long run, but you can't quite see where it's coming from. Whatever it is, it's positive. Okay. So honesty is the best policy with this. Revisiting some relationships also could be dealing with this, right? Yeah, so I love it. Now, that same day, Saturn is going to quincunx in that sign Pisces, the Sun and Mercury, right? And remember, Mercury sitting there in the sun, exposing all the secrets about some relationships here, but at the same time, is feeling quite uncomfortable with long-term themes. Okay, so tensions between structure and flexibility, struggle with your self-expression and authority, difficulty with integrating spirituality and practical concerns. All right, and maybe the communication, you guys are not quite compatible and the styles of communication is not really working, especially if it's someone from authority, or maybe some type of structure that's telling you what to do, or a mentor that's telling you what to do. Need to adjust in responsibility in relationships. Whenever there is a quincunx, there's something that's quite not comfortable. It's making you feel like the ick. Okay. So yeah, self-doubt and uncertainty, miscommunication, misunderstandings are definitely involved here. Also feeling stuck or restricted, because that Saturn energy doesn't like to give you freedom, so you feel a little restricted. Now let's move on to the 5th. And on the 5th, we have Mercury. Again, Mercury, it moves fast. So it's going to be and having a lot of energy any month that we are doing a forecast. But Mercury now is going to square Mars in a sign Cancer. This is already we were already kind of feeling this with the eclipse. And now it's going to just be a little bit stronger. And yeah, and when you have that, so we're already kind of feeling it, especially my Cancer, especially all my cardinal signs. So you're talking about my Libras, you're talking about all my uh, Capricorns, and you're talking about all my Cancers and Aries, right? You guys are all going to be feeling this in some way. And tension in communication, emotional outbursts, difficulty making decisions, conflicts in relationship. And it's something that is supposed to start new. And you kind of you don't want it to start. Okay. Just be mindful of your words, be aware of your emotions, and especially when it comes to emotions and relationships. Okay. Seek some balance there. Okay. Now, Mars also is going to trine Saturn in the sign Pisces. And remember, Saturn is retrograding. As an individual, you may not be feeling this, but as a collective, that Saturn retrograding is dealing with the, this is a current event thing, dealing with the borders. And if you live in America, you have Kamala, who just visit the border. And I don't think she had good press with it, because they were saying, I think even on CNN, they were saying that she was only there for like 20 minutes. That is that dealing with that, especially when you're dealing with the homeland of America, because America is a Cancer. Anyway, but back to currently, trining is positive though, right? So when you are going to October 5th, emotional discipline and patience, being productive, and having strategy when having some action, being very nurturing to commitments could be happening, emotional and spiritual growth, balancing ambition with compassion. So it's positive with that trine. I do want you to know that once it hits the, well, did I say the trine here? Yeah, Mars trine, let me see, sextile square, yeah. That's positive. What the negative part is, the communication here. So let's see how that plays out, especially because it's retrograding. That pre-shadow retrograde phase is a doozy. So I feel like October 5th, getting closer to that, we're already here feeling it. Get ready for people being kind of aggressive in their words. Okay. Now, on the 8th, and that could already be happening for a lot of people. On the 8th, we have Venus is going to trine. Where's my Venus? Venus is going to trine Mars. So this is positive. And there's in a sign Scorpio, you're always dealing with some intense emotions, but this is going to be positive. So I would say intense passion, okay? And harmonious expression of love and desire. Maybe there's a protective need here, because nurturing and protective is what you get with these two water signs. Creative and sensual expression, healing, emotional growth, okay? So really being deep, really being nurturing. Water energy is always creative too. So there could be some creativity here happening that day. Trying means you don't have to do any work. It's going to land in your lap. God is going to give you that blessing. There could be some healing aspect here, because water loves to heal and it likes to get a little deep. Now, Venus at the same time, while it's trining Mars, is going to quincunx Jupiter, okay? And as it eases on and starts to quincunx Jupiter, quincunx is uncomfortable, okay? So there is maybe a need to seek some balance and compromise. Communication, because it's in the sign Gemini, is not quite comfortable with the deep socializing, okay? So maybe you're at a party and people are getting deep, but the communications is off a little bit, and it's making people uncomfortable. Okay. Maybe the flexibility of a relationship is quite uncomfortable. Be mindful of any impulsive finances, especially with this. Anytime you're dealing with Venus, it likes to spend some money. Jupiter and Gemini is like you have been discussing the finances, the secret finances too much. So that could be happening. Okay. Restlessness in relationship, miscommunication and disconnection, overindulgence or inconsistency. Okay. Now, that same day, though, Mercury is going to trine Jupiter. So this is positive. So here we have the ruler over here is actually working well with this. So maybe this aspect at a social party won't be as bad, or maybe it'll just affect you with just that one relationship. But overall, communication is really good. It's expansive. There's intellectual curiosity. So maybe you're just having that one conversation here. Maybe. Whatever it is, Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, is working really good with Jupiter. Okay. So there's broadened horizons. You're really thinking really big. You're really being optimistic. There's curiosity and intellect and faith all working together, especially when it comes to aesthetics and relationships and harmony. So that trine, that square is not as bad as this trine, because this trine is there to make it positive. Okay. Now, Mercury also is opposing Chiron too, and Chiron is the planet of healing, and it's in the sign Aries, so healing the self. So healing the self versus talking and thinking about your relationship. So there is this balance that you have to deal with that day as well. 21 degrees is 24, 23, 22, 20. It's Sagittarius. So again, the optimism or the grand picture of it, because Sagittarius is very big and very large. So the healing of the self is going to be bigger than ever. And when you're dealing with relationships and discussing that relationship. So there is this little lingering energy there, but there is an overall positive energy in regards to relationships that day. So just be aware of that. Now, October 9th, we have Jupiter that will start to retrograde. And because Jupiter is in that pre shadow phase that I was just discussing yesterday, all those aspects may not be working to the blessing. Now, this is a positive planet. However, when it's retrograding, it doesn't come off as optimistic as it could be. Let's see how this happens. When it starts to retrograde, it will be in a Sagittarius degree. So something big is going to happen. You could talk about a big publishing deal, something huge. Let's see what news happens this day. 21 degrees. It's expansive. It's bigger than ever. In the sign Gemini, any Gemini placements, you're going to be feeling this the most, especially if it's who is this that I know? Gemini. I know Kamala is a Gemini rising. Trump has Gemini sun and something else Gemini, and this could be affecting him bigger than ever. I will get over that, but when it's retrograding for us, the collective, you're talking about revisiting some ideas or some beliefs, reassessing your communication patterns, revisiting a plan or a project, intellectual growth, and inner expansion, because retrograde makes you go internal and not just so external, and maybe reflecting on some social connections, reflecting or revisiting your beliefs about God and spirituality. Jupiter is a very spiritual religious planet as well, so all that could be happening. So yeah, just revise and reconnect and just do the RE words, like remember, remind, redo, replan, all that. Okay. Try to avoid any over committing of anything, like saying, oh, I can do that. That could be a problem with this retrograde. Okay. So just over committing to anything and saying it, try not to do that. Also, superficial conversations, that Jupiter and Gemini will keep it real surface level. That might be a problem. And ignoring some details could be a problem with that too. Now let's move over to October 11th. And how are we all doing? Okay, we're still good. I'm just making sure I didn't have any comments. And I got to get better. I usually have two screens and I have one screen here. So I can't see the comments while I'm doing this. So I have to check it a little bit after I go over it. So now we're October 11th. And now, speaking of retrogrades, we have Pluto that will go direct. So Pluto is the problem with Pluto is we got all these problems with government. If you haven't noticed, you know that lawyer, not that lawyer, the mayor, that was a problem. I discussed some other Capricorn issues. You're talking about government, you're talking about businesses. Oh, all those CEOs. You're talking about the P. Diddy CEOs, the CEOs who were working with this mayor, all of them resigning. All that is Pluto retrograding. Now, 29 degrees is still a potent degree. So let's be ready of that. But now it's going direct. So we got the last minute of Capricorn almost, the dirtiness of it, but it's still at 29 degrees. So there is this urgency of trying to finish or complete something with Pluto retrograding in Capricorn. If you don't know, Pluto is the detective. Okay. Pluto is the one to get, oh, you know how you have a house party, have a house party, but let's say you're hosting something and you throw all your junk in a closet and you push that closet door shut and you're like, oh, no one can see that mess. Well, Pluto comes in and goes, now open this closet, and all the junk comes out. That's Pluto's job. Now, when it's in a sign in its zodiac sign, Capricorn, it's talking about government, it's talking about businesses, it's talking about corporations, any type of infrastructure, any type of like uniform, like police. Pluto was in Capricorn, and that's when we had the BLM. So Pluto in Capricorn is going to get all the government officials and all the businesses and be like, what is the corruption going in here? Now it's not retrograding anymore. So it did most of its job, but it's still at 29 degrees. 29 degrees is an urgent degree. So it's still going to be in a rush to shut things down because it has to hurry up and go in Aquarius, and we'll be done with Capricorn. Now, while it is at this 29 degrees, is going to be squaring Libra. So the discussion of things and um, okay, discussion, gossip, especially when it comes to relationships of a corporation, that is going to cause a problem when it's, when as especially as this Mercury keeps moving there, we start to feel the news discussing this, or maybe a newscaster who is a female, because Libra does represent female, it also represents a team that could be discussing something big with a corporation. Okay, now Mercury is the one moving, so I'm thinking that the news is going to be bigger than the actual corporation. Now, at the same time, it's going to sextile Neptune. Sextile is not that big. Someone has to do some work. It's like it's there. It could, if you want to use it, it would be good. But if you don't use it, it'll just be ignored. And that could be some illusions here, some secrets. So let's see what the news has to offer around the 11th here. Okay. But it being direct means empowerment and reclaiming some control, transformation in structures and systems, tangible results of inner work, shedding old structures, and intensifying power dynamics. Okay, power struggles that have been brewing beneath the surface may now come to the forefront. Okay, so let's see how that happens, especially when it comes to the bigger powers that be that we have no control over. We've already been seeing is doing his job. It's doing a great job, by the way. The P. Diddy stuff and the mayor, if the mayor is guilty, whether or not, it's still doing the dirty, it's getting rid of the dirty work. And this could be exposing either the government punishing the mayor. If you don't know, I did a video on him, so you can check out that very last video. Was it live? I think it was live. It could be the government blaming him, or vice versa, the mayor. Whatever it is bringing things to light. Now let's move on to the 13th. And on the 13th, we have a lot of aspects here, right? First of all, we have Mercury that will be entering the sign Scorpio right now, as you see it earlier that day, it's at 29 degrees. So, urgency to finish something with relationships. Get ready for that, okay? And this relationship doesn't have to be a love relationship, it can also be a partner that you work with, anything that you're dealing with. It comes with a team. That could be an urgency in thinking and communicating that's happening there. But it's going to enter Scorpio. I'll talk about that. Mercury is also going to, before it's going to square that Pluto, and the sun is trining Jupiter. So that's very positive. I'll talk about that actually first, since it's so optimistic, right? So this is optimism and confidence here, right? The sun is your ego, and this is a positive planet. It is retrograding, so it could be some internal confidence, intellectual expansion and learning, harmonious communication, reevaluating, expanding some relationships. Both of these are air signs. Air signs are all about socializing and communication, also external energy. So, not really that internal, even though we're dealing with this retrograde, but something that can affect the external world. It's a masculine sign. Masculine means not like water where it's internal and you're at home. No, masculine is like, it's say it out loud. Okay, yeah, but balance between idealism and reality. Okay, that is what we have for that aspect, which is very positive, okay, and very harmonious. And Gemini is dealing with that duality. Libras is dealing with the scales of the duality. So let's see how that is, especially in relationships. And Gemini could be twins too, okay? Now, Mercury in Libra, which I said is going to square that Pluto. We kind of discussed this already, but there's intense conversation, power struggles, revelations, and transformative thinking, breaking down and rebuilding ideas, challenges and negotiation and agreements, psychological and emotional tension. Okay. Get ready for this. I find that this might be a big doozy, even if you're not a Libra sign. This could definitely be affecting all my cardinal signs. So, my Cancers and my Aries, Capricorns, and Libras. Get ready for that. This is dealing with psychology. This is dealing with deep, deep work. Okay. Nothing surface about this. And now you have to communicate it, and you have to have this tough conversation. So be ready for that. I'm all down for the tough conversations. Okay. Because I believe in the healing, but there will be healing. Now, Mercury entering I'll scoosh this over. Mercury entering Scorpio. Now, once Mercury hits, it already passed that 0 degrees, and that could be more the morning of the 14th, Monday morning. It's going to be a doozy. Okay, people are going to be like, let me research, let me investigate. Now, when Mercury's in the sign Scorpio, we are going to get more investigative secrets out. Okay, get ready for the news being more investigative. Get ready for the podcasters or people who are there's this guy on Twitter, and he always have like this green screen, and he talks about the tweet. People like that who are like, you know what, we're going to get into the deep dirty, we're going to investigate this person. Watch it happen more during Scorpio season, okay, especially with Mercury entering Scorpio. I'm excited for that because I love to know the secrets. Okay, I'm like, come on, bring it out. Okay, but deep and intense communication, uncovering hidden truths, psychological insight, transformative conversation, focus and determination. Scorpio is a fixed sign, so that's why Scorpios are the true investigators, okay, of the zodiac. They are like, no, I'm just going to focus on this one thing. I don't want to look anywhere else. Tunnel vision. I'm going to solve this mystery. And you know how I even got to this mystery? I had a feeling. There was something in my gut. It was an intuition that told me to look at this. And now that I'm looking at this is suspicious. And you know what? Because I feel like it's suspicious, I'm going to get to the root of the problem. I love a Mercury and Scorpio, especially if they have great aspects, because they are going to get the conspiracy theories. And anyway, suspicion and secrecy, all that is going to be involved with this Mercury. Some people may be holding some more secrets too. That is the negative side of it. All right. But if you're truly authentic and if you want to do some research, this is great. But make sure you watch your words because they will be very heavy and intense. Avoid any manipulation because the Scorpio energy does like to control, and maybe focus on healing and transformation. Okay, but there is obsessive thinking. It's great in one aspect, but sometimes you're doing too much. So be aware of that. Also, Scorpio energy, in Scorpio, it's like, I don't trust you. I'm very suspicious. Be careful of being too mistrustful or being paranoid. That's a great word for it, right? Power struggles and conversations can definitely happen with this. Okay. Now let's move on to the 14th. I did the I moved it over for the 14th, right? So while we're on the 14th, the sun in Libra is going to square Mars. Whenever you have this, you, of course, you have some power dynamics here. You're talking about your ego, your pride is not getting low with some aggression and some conflict. So conflict with harmony could be happening, emotional reactivity, struggle for balance and action, tensions in relationships, difficulty in decision making. This is the decision maker. This one here wants to look in the past. Some emotions, again, involving the ego and the relationships. Get ready for those challenges, okay? There could be emotional frustration, overreacting to criticism, and some power struggles here, okay? Yeah, so that's what we have for that. But then also that day, which isn't the best, okay? Venus is opposing what do I have? Uranus. Uranus in the sign Taurus, which Uranus is retrograding. Okay, 26 degrees is about the finances and what you deem valuable. Okay, it's a Taurus degree, and something about this opposition of money. This is both about money, so this is going to be about money. Okay, this could be affecting all my fixed signs. So you're talking about my Leos, you're talking about all my Aquarius and Scorpios and Taurus. This could be affecting you, this opposition, because they're dealing with some squaring here. But for the collective, this could be some unpredictable relationship dynamics, okay? Desire for freedom and versus your emotional depth, okay? Financial and value shifts. This is huge on finances, okay? Breaking free from some old patterns and sudden attraction to some impulsivity. This planet always reminds me, not reminds me, but whenever it comes into the forefront, we have some issues here in regards to social media. You're talking about the influencers and communicators. There's something here with that. So there could be something happening with that. Now, this is also the planet of support, and it can't see eye to eye with this social influencer. So that could be happening. At the same time, this is your finances and what you naturally attract. And now it's opposing the surprises because this planet is sudden surprise, and the surprise could be good or bad. So just be flexible and explore some new experiences. Maintain some independence because this is a very independent planet, but reevaluate your values and your priorities. Okay. There could be some emotional turbulence here because we are dealing with emotions with this sign, or some financial instability happening. Maybe even this is dealing with relationships, a relationship breakdown. Okay. So that is what we have for the 14th. On the 15th, and now we are halfway through the month, this is very positive. Venus, while it's opposing here, Venus is also trining Neptune. And this is major, major love. Okay. So on the 15th, if you want to have a little Valentine's Day, go ahead and do it. So this is deep emotional, spiritual connection, romance, compassion, heightened creativity, inspiration. This is a great time to get a tarot reading if you want that, because you're dealing with the water aspect and it's very intuitive. Spiritual love and compassion, dreaming and idealistic energy. Okay. Embrace your creativity, deepen your emotional bonds, practice compassion and forgiveness. Okay. Also, maybe stay grounded because you are dealing with a lot of water energy. Is very positive. The grounded energy could help. But it's very positive that day because that is a trine. I would say there's nothing negative with that. Okay. Now, since we're halfway into this video, I would like you guys to do a little special treat for me. I tried to drink a sip of my water so fast and I spilled it all on me. Okay, let me drink some water before I get to the rest of this month. Hold on. But you guys, don't forget to thumbs up if you are watching, whether you are watching this live or you're not watching this live. Just yeah, do me a favor and do that. Now, Venus is now going to enter. Let's scooch it on up on the 17th. And I know this says the 18th, but Venus is going to enter Sagittarius. 0 degrees means it's going to be very potent. People are like, let's go outside and let's socialize with everyone. I love you and I love you. And oh my gosh, you know what? Let's go on a hike. I want to do something adventurous. I want to explore. I'm very optimistic. I'm very positive. Freedom loving for everyone. Freedom, independence, love of learning, love of philosophy, very generous, very optimistic energy. Okay. Now, the bad side of Venus being in Sagittarius is restlessness and commitment issues because you have promised to party with too many people. Okay. Also, a tendency to overlook any details, bluntness, and insensitivity. Okay. I find that Sagittarius energy is very blunt and it thinks it's helping you. And sometimes it could be very harsh. Okay. There is an overindulgence here. People may be spending too much money on big, big, big items. Sagittarius is very big, and it's like, you know what? I can buy that. I can buy that, and I can buy that. Okay. Also, there could be an avoidance of emotional deepness. So be aware of that. Just be adventurous, take advantage of that, communicate very clearly, balance your freedom with your commitment. Okay. And cultivate some intellectual conversations because that is really good with this, especially when Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, is in the sign Gemini. Now, that same day, we have a full moon in, let me scooch it back. Well, okay, it's got to be some hours, but you can't see this. But before this day starts, we have the full moon in Aries. I will get more detail about this Aries full moon. But when we have that, the full moon is heightened sensitivity, it's heightened climax of the cycle. So emotional release and new beginnings, personal empowerment, independence. The Aries is all about the I, the self, the uno, the one. Okay, being first. So there could be heightened emotions and impulsiveness. The ruler of Aries, where is it here? Wait. Why is it not showing? Here we go. Wait, no. Oh, it's back. I'm sorry. I did it too early. Okay, here we go. The ruler of Aries. Okay. The ruler of Aries is Mars. So you're dealing with Mars being pre-shadow retrograde. So the emotions could be really intense. Be aware of that. Conflict with resolution. Focus on the self and personal goals. Okay. During that full moon, I want you to embrace some courage and take action. Release on whatever is holding you back because you're talking about you need to start something new here, homie. Okay. Eh, Um, Manage your impulsivity, like just being impulsive and just doing without thinking. Okay. Yeah. And it's courage and it's physical activity. A lot of Aries energy is very aggressive, and physical activity can help release some stuff. Okay. Be careful of being impatient and frustrated during this full moon, and conflict with aggression and maybe some ego clashes, because we are dealing with that uno. Some rituals you can do for this full moon, but don't do it on the full moon. Do it like the day before the full moon, is intention setting, releasing things, having a physical activity like working out, maybe even grounding energy like meditating on the ground. Okay. Maybe even journaling. That always works. Meditation always works too. Okay. Now, the full moon, at the same time it's having that full moon in Aries, is going to square that Mars in Cancer. So I said this earlier, I just think it's going to be a very intense, emotional, aggressive full moon. Okay. Egos and impulsive reactions, tension between independence and security, conflicts, confrontations, frustrations, and restlessness. It's just going to be a big doozy. I will get more in detailed as I get closer, but you are aware, you're getting the warning now. Okay. Just increase conflicts and arguments. Okay. And emotional energy, just being very overwhelmed. Okay. Just a lot of rash and not thinking before you do. Aries just does, and then it thinks about it later. Okay. It actually learns from its actions instead of learning before you plan. So just be aware of that when you're dealing with that Mars full moon, that Leo full moon, which is, I would say, a Mars full moon. And yeah, just a lot of double energy, because the Cancer, the moon is the ruler of Cancer, and Mars is the ruler of Aries. So I just think this is going to be very intense for a lot of us, and we don't even know it. We're worried about the eclipse, but I think that the full moon in Aries is going to be a big doozy. Now, on the 21st of October, Mercury is going to be in a positive aspect and is going to trine Saturn. Okay. This is very positive because there's deep, insightful communication, there's structure when you're having introspection or when you're having discussions. If you have to give a big speech, this is great because you're going to be very articulate. Okay. Realistic and focused thinking, revisiting and resolving the past, constructive criticism, and honest feedback. Okay. Very positive. I love it. I would use this as an opportunity for any type of transformation in a long term, and building any mental resilience and deepening your understanding. Now, on the 22nd of October, then anytime it's around the 22nd, first of all, the sun is at 29 degrees on the 21st, and that's a potent degree. And now it's like, come on, we got to fix this relationship. Get ready for that, okay? And then it's going to square Pluto. And while it's squaring Pluto, there are major power struggles when it comes to relationships. Maybe there's a transformation or someone's going to let go of a relationship. This is intense inner conflict too. Pluto is very deep. I've discussed it. Challenges with authority and structures, deep psychological insight. I find that this is going to be very intense on a global scale of relations. And this could also be dealing with, you're talking about Jewish, Israel, and Palestinians. That is also a relationship. Okay. If you're dealing with a team, if you're dealing with any open enemy, that is a relationship. And there's going to be a challenge of authority happening with that. And this is regarding a government. This is regarding infrastructure. So, me on a smaller scale, this could be the people who are in charge of my daughter's soccer club, and this is dealing with her team, and she's a female, it's a female soccer club, and there is a power struggle here. Okay. So that is more of how to make it in a smaller picture versus the bigger picture. But if I was, not if I, but me dealing with this aspect, my advice would be facing your fears in the shadow side. Avoid the power struggles. Let it go. They want to control you. Okay. You know what? You can have it today. Okay. Maybe this power struggle is going to help you embrace some change or transformation. I would just communicate with great carefulness, okay? And I would be centered and grounded. Don't let the emotions take over you. But this is very intense conflict confrontations. Get ready for that. The sun brings a big shining light into some problems, okay? There could be obsessive and compulsive behavior. Now you're dealing with cardinal signs. So this could be affecting, again, all my cardinal signs. So my Cancers and my Aries. But at the same time, there is a challenge here of starting something new. Okay. And this could be a resistance to change. So, yeah, that is what we have. Now, Venus is going to trine the north node. Where's my north node? Did I take it off here? Oh no. Venus is going to trine the north node. And when Venus trines the north node, you're talking about your support system and you trying to achieve things in this lifetime. It's also going to sextile the south node. So releasing a relationship. So this is a great energy to have while you have that sun squaring Pluto, but this is an alignment to your life purpose. Maybe you are going to release a relationship and go towards your goal in life. Okay. Adventurous and open minded growth, positive relationship dynamics, attracting opportunities for growth. Uh, Venus attracts what you need and it also attracts what you're giving. So if you got a positive aura, it's going to give you that positive energy. Okay. There's optimism and a lot of enthusiasm. Okay. With this. And this is going to help maybe with some personal freedom in regards to this relationship. This is freedom and this is freedom. Okay. So it wants to find some joy with the individual in itself and manifesting that true life path could be happening with this. Now, when the sun enters Scorpio, potent energy when it hits at 0 degrees. Again, a lot of investigation of the secrets that could be happening. On a positive, it's emotional deepness, there's intensity, transformation, renewal, increased intuition and insight, focus on determination, empowerment, and reclaiming your control, deepening some relationships. On the negative side, when we have Scorpio season, and shout out to all the solar returns of the Scorpios. I love Scorpio energy. Find that they could be a little controlling, but I'm a water sign. I understand. I have patience with it. But on the negative side, there could be emotional intensity and being overwhelming. Again, power struggles, control issues, difficulty of letting go, being fixated on something and being secretive and suspicious and obsessive and jealousy or all or nothing kind of attitude. Scorpio energy tends to have this approach of all or nothing. And this can lead to extreme behaviors, whether it's overcommitting to something or withdrawing completely. They are very black and white, okay? And I don't mean to say they, just the energy is very black and white, okay? Now on the 27th, and we're moving closer to the end of the month, you guys, Mars, this is what I wanted to give a warning of. Mars is in its pre-shadow retrograde phase, okay? We are aware of this, even though it's not retrograding. Any of these red planets are retrograding, okay? Look at all this as retrograding. Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Saturn. A lot of lessons learned. Okay. Now, it's pre-shadow retrograde phase and it's starting to creep up and have an opposition to Pluto. This is going to be a big doozy in far as America, and because America is a Cancer sign, okay, and we're dealing with government. And as you can see, the date here, October 27th, I'm thinking this is like something with the election. We'll get a little bit closer to that as I investigated this. This represents elections too, but we'll get a little closer to that as I know I've said some tidbits already about it. I have a political playlist, so go ahead and check that out. But I do need to do a video just on election. I think they are going to start voting. I already have, but I have to do a video on that. So check that out. Yes, but when we have this energy already, okay, it's coming up October 27th. Actually, when does it start? Let me see. We'll give it like maybe a 10-degree orb. Maybe it starts to feel it in the middle of October. So towards the end of October, it's really, really strong. Okay. Now, October 27th, it's starting to feel stronger, and it's emotional historical aggression. It's not balancing with its limits, restrictions with the government, institutions, corporation, maybe old men or who's your mentor, emotional intensity and power struggles. This is also dealing with the past, looking into the past. Remember that. What is your heritage? What is your past? All that is happening. And now you're dealing with maybe an old secret. Yeah, it could be an old secret from the government, something from the past. Okay. Inner conflict and repressed anger, transformation in personal power and security, challenges in relationships and authority figures, release of old emotional patterns. Remember, I said old past. Okay. Now, this is going to affect the Libras, the Aries, the Cancers, the Capricorns, okay? That is what it's going to affect, and I need you to understand it. I would, for this opposition, you need to always meet in the middle. So the aggression and the secrets need to meet in the middle. Try not to keep things too secretive. while you're trying to just like cover it up, because that's what that that Mars is like. Let me just cover this up. Just keep a balance. Maybe set some healthy boundaries, avoid power struggles, manage your emotions emotionally, transform some old patterns, seek some resolution and healing. Okay. But this will be emotionally overwhelming. There will be probably some manipulation and control, and maybe there's some explosive reactions. So be aware of that. Now, on the 28th of October, we have Mars in Cancer and is going to trine, which is very, very positive, Neptune. So we have this opposition here that's coming. At the same time, there's your intuition, or maybe there's some secrets that's going to be revealed. But intuition works really well, especially with feelings regarding the past, or regarding your mom, or regarding where you feel safe. There's compassionate action, there's heightened intuition, spirituality. Maybe you're motivated spiritually, maybe you're motivated emotionally, and it's giving some love. Okay. This is also a very creative aspect. So if you're into creativity, this is great, especially creativity at home or with the self, or being yourself. Emotional healing too, especially with this retrograde. Dreams and inspiration aspirations, huge with that. Now, Neptune in a sign Pisces is very compassionate. So there's compassion here, following your intuition, pursuing your creative projects. There is no boundaries here. So just be aware of that, and a lot of like fluff in the clouds, but this is positive. So maybe the fluff in the clouds, allow it that day. Okay. I just want you to understand that. What it looks like, and it's actually going to bring some growth, some emotional growth, maybe some spiritual growth, maybe a creative breakthrough, or building some compassionate relationships. Okay. That is what we have. And also that day, Venus is going in the sign Sagittarius, is going to square Saturn in the sign Pisces. So support for the long term and your long term goals seems to navigate to be negative or limiting. Or maybe you're out at a party and you're thinking you're just all, it's very optimistic, but then the people are negative or haters. Okay. Limits are social activity. Saturn is a very limits on your social activity, like you're trying to go out but you can't. Saturn is also very negative, it's pessimist. And Sagittarius is very positive, and so it's like someone is hating on your parade. Okay. Yeah, but tensions between freedom and responsibility, relationship challenges, financial limitations, reevaluating your values and desires, emotional restriction, or maybe you feel lonely because Pisces is a little bit lonely. Okay. Commit to what matters, set some healthy boundaries, address your financial responsibilities, because this is the planet of money. Okay. And reflect on long-term goals. It's okay. You may be feeling limited. There may be some conflict in relationships, because you are dealing with relationships. You're dealing with love here. There could be some isolation or coldness here. Just be aware of that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what we have now. On the 30th of October, we have Mercury, and it's going to oppose Uranus in Taurus, and jumping to conclusions when investigating some resources. Now, this is the day that I find that investigation energy may be jumping the gun. Okay. So just be aware as we get closer to the end of October, there may be some lies from the social media aspect. Okay. Or from influencers, or from, they're just moving too fast, talking too fast. Okay. Sudden insights and breakthroughs, but it's not quite seeing eye to eye. Okay. Disruptive communication, unexpected news. This could be a little Mercury retrograde energy. Just be aware of that. Tensions between stability and change, reevaluating some hidden information, mental restlessness, because this could be just too fast. Okay. Or there could be some anxiety. Just remember to stay open and be flexible. If you hear some gossip, or you hear some investigation and conspiracy theory, and it may be coming fast around this time, just take it with a grain of salt. Okay. Wait until the long term when it really starts to be like, okay, this really makes sense. But immediate, just avoid the immediate impulsive decisions or responses to things. Okay. Expect the unexpected definitely with this. Okay. Mental overwhelmness could be happening, and nervous tension, definitely some miscommunications, misunderstandings. It is definitely a little Mercury retrograde. Okay, so there could be some disruptions with technology and travel. If you are planning to fly, there may be a delay. Just be flexible. Okay, difficulty in focusing could be happening too. Okay, now on the 31st of October, Mercury is positive here, and it's going to be positive in trine with Neptune. Now, this is on Halloween. So, this is really going to be great energy for Halloween. If you are someone who trick or treats, or if you go and trick or treat with your kids and you guys want to drink alcohol, go ahead and do it. Okay. Pisces energy, it's about a little escapism, okay? So there could be some escapism here, but it's a great socializing energy with communicating and getting deep on Halloween. But there's a lot of love and compassion. Binge watching movies, scary movies. This is it here, okay? Yeah, alcohol and deep conversations actually is what I see. But heightened intuition, psychic abilities, tarot reading on Halloween. Wait, hold on. Excuse me. Okay. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but he is like banging and banging. Okay. But there's heightened intuition, psychological abilities, deep empathetic communication. Yeah, because my kid, my youngest, is older now. She doesn't need us to trick or treat. But the tradition was that we used to trick or treat and used to go out with the other moms, and we would just we would be drinking our wine while walking with the kids and having a great time. And so that just makes me think this is like a great time to have that deep conversation. If the kids do trick or treat, or if you're having a Halloween party, you're going to be in the corner having deep conversations with someone while at that Halloween party, right? But a very creative imagination, creativity, exploring the subconscious mind, spiritual, mystical experiences. Okay, this is a very intuitive energy, very intuitive. This is a great time to get a tarot reading. Okay, engage in creative expression, practice some compassion with your communication, use discernment. Great for healing, great for spiritual awakening, great time for creative breakthroughs. And that is how we end the month of October. The month of October towards the end, you guys, is positive. I love it. We do have planets retrograding. I do want you to understand that. There will be some some illusions happening. People may be jumping the gun during this month. A lot of aggression. I want to be very clear. A lot of emotional aggression. A lot of looking in the past and using that to fight this war of any conflict. Makes me think of again, I brought this up several times, like Candace Owens looking at Kamala's past and her lineage. And Cancer, Mars retrograding. Cancer is where you come from. It's your history. It's your ancestry. So a lot of that could be happening towards you, not just Kamala. She's just one person. But I just want you to understand that that is what that Mars retrograding with that full moon in Aries represents: fighting of your past or what you feel safe or your history. Okay. Yeah. But other than that, it does end with a little positive note. Okay. There's a lot of trines happening this month, meaning there's a lot of things that God is just landing on your lap, far as your emotions, far as your intuitions, a lot of water energy this month, and a lot of things dealing with your relationships. I do want you to understand this is going to be the energy of relationships, and October is going to be the month of investigations. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed. Check me out tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a tarot reading. And on the 2nd, we have the eclipse. So I might not do anything. I definitely won't be doing any tarot readings on the eclipse. I could be doing a video on politics, but I won't be able to do any tarot reading with that. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.